We're live again. Hello, it's Tuesday. It's just after noon here in sunny, beautiful Boston. Oh my gosh, it's like 56 degrees. I rode my bike in the sun. Hallelujah. So today I'm going to talk about this one word, and the word for today is syndication. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that and why syndication is going to be so incredibly useful for going live and for reaching a bigger audience and for connecting with people on a much more meaningful level. And this is our topic for today. And I'm looking at my microphone here is slowly sagging. Technical difficulty. That's too funny. I have this thing rigged up where my microphone is on an arm, a mechanical arm that's stuck onto my tripod and then it sticks out like this much further away from the camera and that much closer to me. And the idea is you get better sound. But there's something about it that's not quite completely tight, and it's been slowly sagging and pointing towards the floor. But you don't want to let that stuff get in your way when you're live. So if you're here and you're watching me right now, just say hello or say hey there or say whatever you want to say, but just do something in the comments so that when I pick up my iPad here and take a look and see if there's anyone here, I will see you and I'll be able to respond to you. And I'm really wanting this to be more of a conversation and more of a kind of back and forth between all of us. I'd like you to talk with me, and I'd also like you to be able to talk with the other people who are watching. And even if you're watching on the replay, comment, I'm here. I'm watching now, even though it's later. And I will be able to come back to you later and look at this later, and we can still have a conversation even though it's no longer live. So at any time that you're here, comment, and I will react and answer questions and ask you questions and so forth. So my first question for today is, what the heck do you think I mean when I say syndication? And why is it important especially when you're doing a Facebook Live? And so what I'm talking about is the idea that when you go live, there's this benefit, of course, of having more people watch your live video. And there's a really good benefit in terms of how Facebook is set up, in that if someone is sharing your video, what that means is that your video is now instantly getting, like right in that moment, in front of all of the people who are the audience of whoever did the sharing. And not only that, but if people are sharing your video and it's going live to their personal profile on Facebook, there's all these signals that Facebook uses to rank your video highly. And one of the signals is the amount of interaction that it's getting. And they call this active response to your video. So there's active signals and there are passive signals. Now, a passive signal is simply a view. And if you're just viewing this video or you're viewing another video and you're just sitting there and you're watching it, that's a very passive. You're now a member of the passive audience. And if you want to be active, you have to do things. You have to comment or you have to like. And Facebook ranks all of these things. I'm still messing around with my microphone here in case you're wondering why the camera's shaking. Because it's just not staying upright. I'm going to have to fix this at some point in the future so that's not doing this on me. So there's these signals that you can give to the person who is streaming that you're there, and signals that you can give to Facebook that you're being active and you're actively participating. And what Facebook does is it looks at all these signals, and when it starts seeing a lot of active signals on a live video that you're broadcasting, it starts to rank that video highly, and it starts to rank that video as something that is relevant. So this is the kind of thing that we all want to start paying attention to as we go live. And like, how can we move people from that passive viewer role into an active participant in our live streams? And one of the ways that we can promote that is by doing syndication. And the thing is that if, part of the rewards that when you're going live and someone actually shares your video and they share it onto their personal profile, the profile, if that video is going on to somebody's personal profile and there are active signals going on there that people are also commenting and also liking the video on someone else's profile, that's almost the best thing that you can have happen to your video. So it's helpful and it's important for people to be able to share your video if you want it to rank higher. So on that note, I'm going to ask you guys to share my video. If you think you know somebody who wants to learn more about live video and particularly about syndication and how to reach a bigger audience, go ahead and share this video. And I'm going to share my video right now. I'm pulling up my iPad. I'm going to check out, first of all, if I'm here. And I believe that I'm here. So I'm scrolling down. Oh, there it is. Look, I can see myself right there in front of sunny downtown Boston. It's looking really good. And so I'm going to hit the little share tag right here. And I'm going to click on write a post so that I can share it over to my Facebook group. And you can pick wherever you want this to go. There's a menu that pops up. And so I'm scrolling down and I have to type in the name of the group and I just tap on it there. And then I just hit post and boom, it's off. So now if you're in my Facebook group, which is called Video Making Mastermind, you are now seeing me live there as well. And go ahead and share this to wherever you want it to go to. And what will happen there is that the more you share, the more active signaling will be going on this particular video, which means that the more Facebook will actually show it to more and more people. So the second question that I have for you guys is, now that you're understanding a little bit about how syndication works, how many of you would like to join into a collaborative syndication group? And by that I mean, let's imagine that every time you went live, you had a dedicated group of people who were fans of yours, who were also had an audience of people and friends and followers who were the kind of people that you would like to be talking to, and vice versa, that you had an audience that they would like to talk to. And so like week to week, every time you go live, you had a group of people, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 people, who would tune in, they'd be notified when you went live, and they would share your video to their audience. And then you could reciprocate. So every week when they went live, you pay attention and you tune in and you would share their video. And this doesn't even mean that you have to watch all of those videos, but just simply tune in at the start to help share it and help syndicate it, to more places. And so the model that you want to think about here is kind of the way radio works. For example, there's a show that's produced here in Boston that's actually co-produced with the BBC. It's called The World, and it's co-produced by WGBH here in Boston. Now, The World goes on to a syndication that we know as Public Radio International. And Public Radio International syndicates it across the country to all these different other radio stations in different cities in the United States. And because of that syndication, the show The World, which is a news hour that goes on every single day, they have a reach and a listener group of about 2 million people who listen every single day. And that wouldn't be possible without syndication. So we're not Public Radio International. We could become Facebook Live International or just Live Stream International and form a syndication where people would agree to be basically a kind of local Facebook Live station, and you would syndicate the most interesting broadcasts that you saw. And we could actually create a schedule where, okay, on Monday, these are the lives that are available for syndication. And on Tuesday, these are the lives that are available for syndication. And the people who would be the member broadcasters would submit, like, here's my weekly show, and here's the weekly episode, and here's the topic that I'm on, and here's who I would like to be talking to. And then other members could come in and they could syndicate. They could say, yes, this is when I'll be syndicating. And by promising to do that, basically what would happen is that you would be in a reciprocal agreement with that broadcaster. So if you were syndicating their feed and their stream, they would promise to syndicate your feed and your stream. And that's the way it can work. So I just want to see a show of hands. If this sounds interesting to you, and I mean like if you're watching this on the replay or if you're watching it right now and you're like the idea of syndication, then in the comments down below, just write, let's syndicate. Let's do it. And where I'm thinking that this could work really well is in my Facebook group, Video Making Mastermind, we could form a core group of members there who would like to do this, who would like to syndicate. And we could just start talking back and forth within that group and find out, structure it in terms of how would this work and so on and so forth. And if it got to a certain level, I can imagine even creating a platform like what I was saying, Live Stream International, where we could do syndication, all across the country and perhaps to other countries around the world, which, wouldn't that be cool? So I'm just going to check again here and see if there are any comments on my stream. And if there are, I will respond. So if you've just tuned in, today I'm talking about syndication and how you can reach a much larger audience simply by reaching out to people and getting people to share your videos and to do it in a formal, more structured way so that you actually have a collaborative group of people who are working with you, syndicating your videos, and you are reciprocating and syndicating theirs. So I'm just checking, and so far, I don't see a ton of people commenting. So later, when you're joining me and you want to be a part of this, there's sort of a two-step process. One is comment on the video and say, yes, I'd like to syndicate. This is fascinating to me. And the two-step is that if you haven't already joined my Facebook group, Video Making Mastermind, you can just write, let me in the group in the comments. Say, I want to be in the group, and you can join me right there. So let me just say a couple more things about syndication. And before I sign off at the end of the day, this is my one thing that I'm on today. Is like, oh, this could work extremely well for all of us, all of the live streamers who are doing regular and dedicated episodes of our live streaming. And if we all find sort of a family of people who we can work with, then we can all, share our streams together and go forward. Now, another place that this can work extremely well, this kind of syndication of your stream, is when you do a live event. And this is something I'm going to start experimenting with. I've already been doing it to a fair degree over the last year, but I want to see if I can take it to the next level. So the way this works is that, let's say you're in front, you're doing a presentation, and you're in a conference room, and you've got, let's say 50 people who are attending your live event. And so you're in front of that group, and you're talking, and you're presenting the information and the value that you have for that particular presentation. And right then, you pull out your camera or you pull out your phone and you start live streaming. And then you use the people who are the attendees in the room as your studio audience on your live stream. And the elements here are that you want the people in the room to literally pull out their phone, go to the place where you're live streaming, and share that stream. And that's sort of step number one. And I've done that quite a lot, and the results are amazing. Like if you have 30 or 40 people in a room and they share your stream, you're instantly going to get a reach of well over 1,000, sometimes 2,000 to 3,000 people. And you'll start getting people on live, and over the time of the replay of that video, you'll see well over 1,000 views, which is amazing. 30, 40 people, and you're turning them into an audience of over 1,000. It's very, very powerful. But the next level, the real syndication here that could happen, and I haven't tried this, but I'm about to try it the next time that I get in front of a live audience, which will probably be a week from Friday when I go do the Boston Speak Series panel. And what I want to do there is I'm going to get up and I'll have everybody get their phone out and I'll have them all share the stream. But then I'm going to ask them a series of questions. And I'm going to ask the same thing to the live viewers, anyone who's on live. And I'll say, hey, whatever it is, some icebreaker questions. If you've ever, if you've been in Boston for, more than 2 years, put your hand up. Or if you've been to this event, more than 5 times, put your hand up. But in addition to putting their hand up, I'm going to ask them to comment. So if you've been in Boston, more than 5 years, or you've ever been to Boston, write, I've been to Boston in the comments. And if you've never been to Boston, write, never been there, and on and on. And by doing this, I'm going to be using the people in the room to add to that active signaling, that active participation that will start prompting the Facebook algorithm to make it go even further. So I know already that if you get shares, you get this brand new reach and a huge amount of new views. What I'm interested in experimenting with a live audience is that if I can get all the people in the room to start commenting what that does to the reach and the exposure and the number of views that we get on that particular video. So stay tuned for that experiment, because I'll be doing that in just about, 2 weeks' time, a week from, less than 2 weeks, a week from Friday. So that's just a whole nother level of syndication. And there are several other ways that this kind of syndication could work. And if you have some ideas about how to do that, I would love to hear from you. And if anyone out there has ever experimented so far with this kind of syndication that I'm talking about, I would really love to hear from you. And perhaps if you've done it and you have some success, we could do a live interview together. So reach out to me and contact me if that's you. So I'm going to look on here and see if I have any other response from folks who are checking it out, pulling up my iPad, scrolling down, waiting for the page to refresh, and oh yeah, we got some people here. All right. People are looking, and that's actually kind of a nice background with this thing behind me. And if you're wondering sort of how I'm achieving this, I'm using this tool. I'm actually streaming via my laptop, and it's a tool called Ecamm, as in E-C-A-M-M, double M. So it's Ecamm Live. It's a piece of software that works on your Mac. And what it does is it allows me to hook my Panasonic mirrorless camera up to my laptop, and I get this image. I get a really nice image that's better than, say, using this little tiny webcam on my laptop. And that's how I'm setting up here. And if you have interest in that, if you're wanting to know, well, how are you doing that? Like, really, how can you show me how to do that? Write in the comments, tell me about Ecamm, and I'll come back to you and I'll let you know. I actually have a couple of tutorials that are on this particular subject of exactly how to do this. So let me know if that's interesting to you, and I can literally show you how it's done, which I think, in this world of lots of people, like I'm a huge believer of going live with your phone and going live with whatever you have and going live with whatever's good enough. And again, like if you want to take it to the next level, I'm a videographer, so I like using nice cameras and I like making nice images. And I like being set up in a nice environment where I have this beautiful natural light that's working really well. And I can achieve this with a couple steps of additional equipment. And so if you're interested in that, if you're going that far, let me know and I can get back to you. And it's another thing that if this is the kind of thing that it's like, I really want to be, sort of a live stream master. I really want to get good at reaching a large audience. I really want to succeed at taking, my thing and my brand and the piece that I do, expanding my authority, reaching lots more people with the work that I do. I have a whole program based on that. And next week, stay tuned for this, next week, I am going to do a whole new masterclass on this particular subject. So that masterclass will happen the same time, Tuesday at noon, 1 week from today. And I don't know what day the week next Tuesday is. I'll have to look it up in my calendar. But next Tuesday, tune in at noon, and I'll be going live probably from this location and having a whole masterclass on this topic of taking your business to the next level using live streaming. So I'm just checking the time, and I've been live for almost 30 minutes, and that's what I do. It's a 30-minute masterclass every single week here on Facebook. And thanks you guys for tuning in. It's really nice to have you guys here. And today we were talking about syndication. If you want to know more about syndication, if you want to participate in syndication, if you'd like to collaborate with people and syndicate your live stream, write, I want to collaborate, or I want to syndicate in the comments down below, and I will respond to you, and we will start collaborating. So that's what I have for you today, and I'll see you next week, and thanks for tuning in, and so long. I just have to hit the off button over here. All right, so looking for the off button, and there it is.